The red sky stretched over the barren planet, casting long shadows over jagged rocks and dry, cracked soil. A massive feline creature lay motionless in a shallow valley, its golden eyes barely open, scanning the empty horizon. Its body was scarred and trembling, weak from the parasites crawling beneath its fur. Each breath it drew seemed like a battle against pain it could not understand. The aliens who had brought it here were gone. Their ships glinted faintly in the distance, already disappearing into the planet's thin atmosphere, leaving the beast alone. The creature's growl was low and raw, a sound more of fear than anger. Its large paws scraped the ground, leaving deep marks, but it did not move far. The parasites it carried burrowed into its skin and muscles, sapping energy and causing relentless irritation. The beast tried to shake them off, but they were too numerous and persistent. It lifted its head, sniffing the air, sensing no one was near. Its world had become empty, quiet, and dangerous. Far above, a small human scout ship appeared as a tiny dot against the vast red sky. Inside, the human medic, Dr. Rylan Hayes, studied the planet's surface through the ship's scanners. "There's life down there," he said softly to himself, adjusting the focus on a handheld device. "Something big. And it's in trouble." The sensors showed unusual biosigns, large, alive, but in severe distress. Hayes had been sent on routine scouting missions before, but the readings here were unlike anything he had ever seen. Landing was tricky. The ship's legs sank slightly into the loose soil, but Hayes managed to touch down near the valley. He opened the cockpit and stepped outside, the gravity slightly heavier than Earth's but manageable. His eyes immediately fell on the creature. It was enormous, far bigger than any feline species known on Earth. Its fur shimmered faintly under the alien sun, mottled with strange patterns that looked almost like symbols. Hayes froze for a moment, taking in the sight. The beast's gaze met his, wary and filled with confusion. The creature flinched and took a step back, growling quietly. Hayes raised his hand slowly, showing no threat. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said softly, hoping his voice would reach the animal in a way it could understand. He slowly activated a small scanner, and the blue light traced over the beast's body, detecting the parasites and mapping their locations. The data shocked Hayes. He had seen injuries and disease before, but this was deliberate design. These parasites were not natural, they had been engineered. The beast's ears twitched as it sensed the scanner's light. It tried to turn away, but weakness held it in place. Its breathing was heavy, ragged, as if every inhale was a struggle. Hayes crouched a few meters away, careful to stay out of striking range. He could see its ribcage moving rapidly under the fur, the muscles tightening with each shudder. "You're in pain," he whispered. "But I can help." The words seemed strange to say, almost like talking to a legend from a dream, yet he could not stop. He had never felt fear like this before, not for his own life, but for the life of a creature abandoned and suffering. Minutes passed and the beast remained tense, watching Hayes closely. It flexed its claws into the soil but did not move closer or attack. Hayes slowly retrieved a small medical kit from his ship, filled with substances he had developed for human and animal injuries. They had never been tested on alien life, but they were all he had. He approached slowly, letting the scanner run continuously. The creature lowered its head slightly as if studying him, its eyes blinking slowly. Trust was not there yet, but curiosity had replaced outright fear. Hayes set down the kit and crouched further, maintaining distance but keeping a clear path for the beast to move away if it wanted. "I know the aliens left you," he said, voice steady. "I know you don't understand why. But you're not alone anymore." The words hung in the dry air. The feline beast lifted its head, sniffing Hayes' hand without touching, cautious but willing to sense. Hayes noticed its body trembling not just from the parasites, but from exhaustion and fear. He began carefully administering a mild sedative through a small delivery device, enough to calm the creature without harm. The beast growled softly, but it did not lash out. Each movement Hayes made was deliberate, slow, and gentle. The parasites squirmed under the surface, but Hayes' tools began neutralizing them one by one. Hours passed as the sun shifted in the sky. The red light softened, and the shadow of the valley grew longer. The feline beast, still wary, started to relax slightly. Its eyes never left Hayes, but the growls turned into low rumbles of discomfort rather than anger. Hayes continued working, sweat on his forehead, mind focused entirely on the creature's suffering. By the time night fell, the beast had grown too tired to resist. It lay down fully, its massive body curling into a protective shape, but its breathing had slowed, showing relief. Hayes sat nearby, exhausted but relieved. The parasites had been mostly neutralized, and the creature was alive when it could have easily perished alone. For the first time in days, the feline beast lifted its head, looking not with fear, but with something like acknowledgement. Hayes spoke softly, almost to himself, "You made it. You're not alone anymore." The stars above twinkled faintly, and the alien world felt less empty, as if the presence of one human and one abandoned creature had brought a new life into the vast silence. Somewhere deep in its instincts, the beast sensed protection. Its golden eyes glowed faintly in the night, a warning to anyone who might approach, but also a sign of fragile trust. The night passed slowly, and the first rays of a new sun began to creep over the horizon. Hayes prepared for the next stage of treatment, knowing that the journey ahead would be long, and the challenges of bonding with such a creature were just beginning. But for the first time, both human and feline beast shared a silent promise. They would face this together no matter what the universe threw at them. The abandoned creature, once left for dead, had found hope in the hands of a human who refused to turn away. The sun rose slowly over the red wasteland, painting the rocks in shades of gold and orange. The massive feline beast stirred, lifting its head cautiously. Its body was weaker than before, but the worst of the parasites had been removed. The creature's golden eyes watched the human medic, Dr. Rylan Hayes, who sat a few meters away, cleaning and preparing new equipment. Despite the treatment, the beast's muscles tensed with every movement Hayes made. It had not forgotten the pain it had endured, and trust was still fragile. Hayes spoke softly, "Good morning. You slept well?" The beast blinked slowly, tilting its head as if trying to understand. Hayes smiled gently, knowing that words meant little, but tone could matter. He slowly took out a small tray of nutrient gels, specially designed to restore energy to large alien creatures. The beast sniffed the air, eyes narrowing. Its instincts warned it that any offering could be a trap. Yet hunger made it hesitate. Hayes placed the tray carefully on the ground, stepping back. The beast lowered its massive paw, touching the tray lightly, testing it. Finally, it began licking the gel, though its movements were cautious. Hayes stayed still, letting the creature eat in peace. He noticed how thin the beast had become, its ribs showing faintly beneath its fur. Even without the parasites, its body was fragile, requiring more care than he had expected. Hours passed in quiet observation. The beast moved slowly around the valley, exploring its surroundings, testing the ground and the air. Hayes followed at a distance, careful not to make sudden moves. At times, the beast would freeze and watch him, eyes narrowed and ears flicking. It growled softly when he got too close, but there was no attack. Hayes understood this as a warning. The creature was afraid but curious, testing him. "Easy," Hayes said calmly. "I'm not going to hurt you." He reached into his kit and took out a small scanner, gently waving it in the air so the beast could see it. The blue light traced across the valley rocks before sweeping over the creature. The feline stiffened, its muscles tight. Hayes kept his distance. "I just want to understand you better. Nothing more." Slowly, the creature relaxed, lowering its head slightly. Hayes realized the alien beast had intelligence. It was not just instinct, it was thinking, learning, judging. The way it observed him, the subtle movements of its ears and tail, showed awareness. He adjusted his approach, moving even slower and speaking softer. He noticed a strange pattern under the fur, scars from parasites that had burrowed deep. "We need to clean these next," Hayes whispered. "I promise it won't hurt." The beast moved closer, hesitant but attentive. Hayes carefully examined one of the deeper scars with the scanner. The parasites were gone, but damage remained. He worked gently, cleaning the wound and applying a mild healing gel. The beast tensed but did not strike. Each touch from Hayes was measured, careful to give signals of safety. Hours passed, and the creature began to lower its head, letting Hayes work closer than before. Fear was still there, but a spark of trust had grown. As night approached, the alien world became colder, and the red sky darkened. The beast curled near a large rock, watching Hayes set up a small heat emitter to keep it warm. Hayes spoke softly, "You've been left alone too long. But you're not alone anymore." The feline blinked and its tail flicked slowly. It still had caution, but the warmth and presence of the human seemed to give it comfort. The next day, Hayes attempted a small demonstration. He held out his hand, slowly, palm open. The beast froze, muscles tight, eyes wary. Hayes spoke in calm, steady tones, moving only slightly. After tense moments, the creature nudged his hand lightly with its nose, testing him. It was a small gesture, but Hayes felt hope. The bond was beginning. Compassion, he realized, was not just one act. It was patience, observation, and respect for fear. Over several days, Hayes taught the beast small routines. eating from trays, staying near the heat emitter, allowing inspection for injuries. Each success was met with cautious trust, each mistake with a soft warning growl. The creature's movements became stronger, more confident. Its golden eyes, once filled only with fear, now carried curiosity and recognition. Hayes had saved its life, but the beast was teaching him patience and understanding in return. One afternoon, a distant sound echoed across the valley. Hayes froze, hand on the scanner. The beast's ears perked sharply, muscles coiling. Its eyes searched the horizon, alert and tense. A small drone passed overhead, part of a routine alien patrol. The beast growled low, ready to defend, but Hayes raised his hands, keeping calm. "It's okay," he whispered. "I'll protect you. You don't have to fight alone." The feline stepped back slightly, still alert but not aggressive. Hayes realized the depth of fear it carried. The aliens had abandoned it, leaving it to die. Every instinct screamed danger, yet here, in the presence of a human, it found safety. Compassion had bridged the gap between species. The beast was not tamed, but it was learning trust. Hayes felt a surge of hope. If this connection could survive, perhaps more could. By nightfall, the creature lay near Hayes' camp, head resting close but not touching. Its breathing was steady, body relaxed but alert. Hayes watched the stars, thinking of the galaxy beyond this red world. Somewhere humans and aliens moved in space, unaware of the bond forming in this valley. Here, fear met compassion and a fragile friendship was born. Hayes whispered to the night, "We'll face the rest together. Whatever comes, we face it as one." The feline blinked slowly as if understanding. Fear was still there, but so was acceptance. Compassion had touched the beast's life, and in return, it had awakened something in Hayes. Trust was delicate, fragile like glass, but it could grow. And in the vast emptiness of the alien planet, the human and the beast had found it. The sun rose over the barren planet, casting pale orange light over the jagged valley. The feline beast stretched slowly, muscles stiff but stronger than before. Its golden eyes tracked Dr. Rylan Hayes as he unpacked more of his equipment. The previous treatments had helped, but Hayes knew the worst was still ahead. Deep under the beast's skin, some parasites had burrowed too far to remove easily. The wounds were infected, weak spots that could easily turn deadly. Hayes' heart pounded. He had never faced anything like this. Hayes knelt near the creature, holding a new device. "Today we finish this," he said softly. The beast watched him carefully, ears flicking, tail curling and uncurling in tension. It still feared him, but the trust between them had grown. It allowed him to come closer, crouching slightly instead of hissing or snapping. Hayes could see the scars under the fur, twisted shapes from the parasite damage. Each one needed careful attention, precise treatment, or the beast would suffer for life. The first attempt was slow. Hayes used a small extraction tool, barely brushing the fur, focusing on a single wound. The parasite had embedded itself deep, but the tool gently removed it. The creature flinched and growled, muscles tensing but did not attack. Hayes whispered, "It's okay. Almost done." Slowly he treated another wound, then another. Hours passed, and the creature began to relax slightly, though its eyes never left him. By mid-afternoon, the first part of treatment was complete. Hayes paused, letting the beast rest. Its breathing had slowed, muscles unclenching. He administered a mild healing serum that would help repair the damaged tissue. The serum was experimental for alien species, but Hayes had no other option. The beast sniffed the air, uncertain of the smell but remained still. It was beginning to understand that Hayes did not mean harm. As Hayes prepared for the next stage, dark clouds gathered on the horizon. A sudden storm was forming, dust and wind whipping across the valley. The feline crouched low, body coiled like a spring, ears flat against its head. Hayes gripped the beast's gaze. "We can get through this," he said calmly, his voice steady despite the howling wind. He used a portable shield to block most of the debris and continued working, each movement careful and slow. The parasites were clever. They had survived previous attempts and adapted quickly. Hayes had to change his methods, using a mix of heat, light, and a mild sedative to weaken them before extraction. Each step carried risk. Too much and he could harm the beast, too little and the parasites could recover. Sweat ran down his forehead as he adjusted doses, watching the creature's reactions carefully. The beast tensed and relaxed, growled and hissed but never struck. Trust was fragile yet present. By nightfall, most parasites had been neutralized, but some had gone deep into tissue that could not be reached without major risk. Hayes set up a small containment field around the wounds, a slow-release healing agent that would work overnight. The beast lay still, exhausted but calmer than it had been in days. Its golden eyes flickered with a strange light, watching Hayes with quiet acknowledgement. It had survived, and part of that survival was the human beside it. Hayes allowed himself a brief moment to rest. He checked his supplies and realized he had only enough healing serum for one more application. The storm raged outside, sand and dust scratching the shield of his camp. He knew tomorrow would be even harder. The final parasites were the most stubborn, embedded in tissue that was delicate and dangerous. One wrong move and the beast could lose strength permanently, or worse. But Hayes refused to give up. During the quiet hours of the night, Hayes noticed subtle changes. The beast's breathing was more even, and its tail twitched less with tension. It had begun to trust him completely, allowing him to touch areas it had once recoiled from. Hayes felt a surge of hope. Compassion, patience, and care had created this fragile bond, and it gave him strength. He whispered softly, "Almost there. You're stronger than they ever thought you could be." The following morning, Hayes began the final stage. The beast watched carefully, muscles coiled but not aggressive. He applied the last doses of serum and gently probed the deep tissue with delicate tools. The parasites resisted, wriggling and trying to hide, but Hayes' patience paid off. Slowly, one by one, they were removed. The creature tensed each time but did not lash out, allowing Hayes to finish the treatment. Hours later, the last parasite was neutralized. The feline beast lay on the valley floor, breathing steadily, its golden eyes bright and alert. Hayes sat nearby, exhausted but triumphant. For the first time, the creature was free from the parasitic threat that had weakened it so severely. It lifted its head, sniffed the air, and nudged Hayes gently, a sign of recognition and trust. The bond between them was no longer fragile. It was real, formed through shared struggle and survival. Hayes smiled, rubbing the creature's shoulder softly. "You made it," he said. "You're going to be okay now." The feline blinked slowly, letting Hayes' words sink in. The long hours of struggle, the fear, the pain, all had ended. What remained was a fragile peace and mutual respect. The creature, once abandoned, was now alive because of human care, ingenuity, and compassion. The storm cleared, revealing the jagged beauty of the red planet. Light reflected off the valley rocks, highlighting the scars that the beast would carry forever. But these scars were no longer marks of suffering. They were reminders of survival, endurance, and the bond that had formed between two very different beings. Hayes knew the journey was not over. Challenges still awaited, but for now victory was quiet and profound. As night fell again, the beast curled near Hayes' camp, its body relaxed, breathing even. It no longer growled at his presence but watched with calm, intelligent eyes. Hayes gazed at the stars above, thinking of the vast galaxy where cruelty and abandonment were common, yet here on this lonely planet hope had survived. A human had saved a creature the universe had tried to destroy, and in that act, a new legend was quietly beginning. The red sky glowed faintly as dawn crept over the jagged rocks. The feline beast lay near the small heat emitter, muscles relaxed for the first time in days. Its golden eyes followed Dr. Ryland Hayes as he checked supplies, preparing for the next phase of recovery. The creature had grown stronger, its breathing steady, its movements smoother. The bond between them had deepened. The beast no longer flinched at Hayes' touch but allowed him to examine old scars and clean wounds. Trust had been earned, fragile but unbroken. Suddenly, a hum of engines filled the valley. Hayes froze, scanning the horizon. Several alien ships descended rapidly, their sleek bodies reflecting the morning light. The convoys that had abandoned the beast had returned. Hayes' heart pounded. He had expected patrols but not a full retrieval force. He looked at the beast. Its ears twitched, body coiling instinctively. Its instincts screamed danger. Its past told it these aliens would bring death, not help. The ships landed, and a group of tall, armored aliens emerged. They moved with precision, scanning the area. Their eyes fell on the beast immediately. A hiss of anger and fear rose from the creature, low and threatening, a sound that echoed across the valley. Hayes stepped forward, hands raised. "Wait," he said firmly, voice calm but commanding. The beast growled softly, staying behind Hayes' side. One alien stepped forward, voice sharp and mechanical. "That creature is property. You have interfered. Return it immediately." Hayes shook his head. "It is not property. It is alive. You left it to die. I saved it. You cannot take it now." The alien's expression hardened, showing frustration. "You have no authority here. It is dangerous. It must be controlled." The beast shifted, muscles coiling, eyes flashing. It let out a low growl, loud enough that the alien froze for a moment. Hayes realized something important. The creature understood the threat and was ready to defend him. It was not yet trained or tamed, but it had formed a bond strong enough to protect the human who had saved it. Hayes stepped closer to the beast. "Stay calm," he whispered. "I've got this." The aliens advanced slowly, weapons raised, scanning the area for threats. The feline remained still, but its posture was tense, tail flicking rapidly. Hayes spoke again, louder, trying to reason. "You abandoned it. You created it and left it to suffer. I will not allow harm to come to it now. Look at what you left behind. Look at what I saved." The alien hesitated, not used to humans speaking with such confidence. The beast growled again, louder this time, a warning and a display of strength. Its fur bristled, muscles flexing, claws scraping the ground. The aliens exchanged nervous glances. None expected the creature to survive, let alone defend a human. Hayes saw the hesitation and pressed further. "It is not a weapon anymore. It is alive. And it has chosen me. You have no claim over it." For a tense moment, the valley was silent except for the creature's steady breathing and Hayes' calm words. Then one alien stepped back, lowering its weapon slightly. "This human has interfered. This is unexpected." Another nodded, scanning the beast. "It is alive. And it is loyal. This was not predicted. Return it or risk confrontation." Hayes took a cautious step forward, placing himself fully between the aliens and the beast. "You see it now. You created something alive, something capable of trust and choice. I will not let you take that away." His voice was firm, unwavering. The aliens hesitated. They had authority, power, and technology, but they had not accounted for choice, loyalty, and compassion, concepts foreign to their species. The beast shifted slightly, brushing against Hayes' leg in a silent show of support. Its golden eyes flashed toward the aliens, warning them without attack. Hayes smiled faintly. "You see? It understands. It knows who saved it. And it chooses to stay. You cannot force life to follow you when it no longer fears you." The lead alien studied the human and the creature, then looked at the remaining forces. "This situation is anomalous. It does not follow our protocols." The others murmured among themselves. The aliens had planned for obedience, not survival with choice. They had created a weapon, but what they saw now was a living being that had learned trust, pain, and compassion from a human. It defied their logic. After long moments of tense silence, the aliens finally retreated. Their ships lifted off slowly, engines humming softly as they vanished into the red sky. Hayes exhaled, feeling the tension leave his shoulders. The feline beast lowered its head slightly, tail flicking once before curling beside him. It had survived not only the parasites but also the return of its creators. Its trust in Hayes had been tested and proven true. Hayes knelt near the beast, running his hands along its massive shoulders. "We did it," he whispered. The creature nudged his shoulder gently, a sign of gratitude or acknowledgement or perhaps both. Its golden eyes glowed faintly in the fading light, reflecting the bond they had formed. The storm of the past days, abandonment, pain, fear, was over at least for now. As night fell, the valley was calm once more. The stars shone above, distant and unchanging, as if observing the quiet victory below. Hayes knew the journey ahead would not be easy. The galaxy was full of dangers and the aliens might return. But he also knew that together they had faced the impossible and survived. The feline beast was no longer a weapon, no longer abandoned. It was alive, free, and loyal to the one who had saved it. Hayes prepared for the night, setting up the heat emitter and checking the medical supplies. The beast lay close, no longer tense, breathing slowly and evenly. It was a silent promise of partnership, of trust earned through compassion and patience. Hayes looked at the stars and whispered, "We'll face whatever comes next together. You're not alone anymore." The feline blinked slowly, eyes glowing faintly as if understanding every word. In that quiet moment, the valley no longer felt empty. Two lives, once isolated by fear and abandonment, now shared trust and courage. The aliens had returned, testing the bond, but they had failed to break it. And in the vast universe, a human and a feline beast had proven something profound. Compassion could overcome fear, and trust could defy even the most powerful forces. The sun rose slowly over the jagged horizon, painting the alien valley in soft gold. The feline beast stirred beside Dr. Rylan Hayes, stretching its massive limbs with newfound strength. Its fur shimmered faintly under the light, and its golden eyes followed Hayes' every move with calm curiosity. The bond between them had grown strong, built on trust, patience, and compassion. The creature was no longer afraid. Hayes packed their supplies carefully, preparing to leave the valley. The beast walked beside him, muscles powerful but controlled. Each step was measured, showing the grace and strength of a predator now healed and free. The journey ahead was uncertain, but Hayes felt a quiet confidence. They had faced abandonment, parasites, and even the return of the aliens, and survived. The creature's loyalty was complete, a living reminder of what humanity could do. As they moved across the rocky landscape, Hayes spoke softly. "You've come so far. You could have been lost, left behind, but now we face the galaxy together." The beast paused, sniffing the air, then nudged Hayes gently. The gesture was small but meaningful. It had chosen him, and in doing so, it had shown that life, even from different worlds, could recognize care and courage. News of the rescue had begun to spread quietly across nearby human colonies and space stations. Other humans had heard of the abandoned alien weapon that had survived under Hayes' care. Some were curious, some skeptical, but all were intrigued by the story of survival, trust, and loyalty. The feline beast, once a tool of war and suffering, had become a symbol of what humanity could achieve, not through force but through empathy. As they approached a human outpost, Hayes saw small ships waiting, scouts and researchers eager to witness the creature. He signaled them to hold back, allowing the beast to walk freely. It did so with pride, head high, muscles relaxed but alert. The crowd watched silently, awe and disbelief in their eyes. The alien, once feared and abandoned, had survived and thrived because a human had refused to turn away. One of the researchers stepped forward cautiously, speaking to Hayes. "It's incredible. We've never seen anything like this survive." Hayes nodded. "It's not just survival. There's trust, loyalty, and compassion. Life is stronger when someone cares enough to protect it, even when it's difficult or dangerous." The researcher looked at the feline in wonder. Its golden eyes glimmered, calm yet intelligent, as if understanding every word. The outpost scientists proposed studying the creature, but Hayes insisted on its freedom. "It's not a specimen," he said firmly. "It's alive. It's chosen to be with me. That choice matters more than anything else." The feline brushed against Hayes' leg, a subtle but clear sign of agreement. Together they walked past the outpost, no cage, no restraint, only trust. Over the following weeks, the feline beast adapted to life among humans. It learned routines, explored safe areas, and even interacted carefully with those willing to earn its trust. Children of the colony were fascinated but cautious, taught by Hayes to respect the creature's space. The beast never displayed aggression unnecessarily, only showing strength when necessary to protect itself or Hayes. Its presence became a quiet legend, inspiring stories across the galaxy. Hayes often sat beside the beast at night looking at the stars. "You've seen what happens when people abandon life," he said softly. "But you've also seen what happens when someone refuses to turn away. That's humanity." The feline blinked slowly, resting its head near Hayes' shoulder. It had survived because of compassion, but it had also taught Hayes patience, understanding, and the quiet power of trust. The aliens who had abandoned it did not return. Their presence in the galaxy continued, but their failure to reclaim the creature was a subtle warning. Humans had shown something unexpected. The value of life, choice, and loyalty could not be forced or bought. The beast's survival and its bond with Hayes became a story repeated in whispers and messages across colonies, a new symbol of what humans stood for. One day Hayes and the beast explored a cliff overlooking a vast canyon. The wind blew softly, carrying the red dust across the rocks. Hayes knelt, looking at the creature. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" The beast responded with a soft rumble, a sound of contentment. Its body, once weak and scarred, now moved with confidence and grace. It was a living testament to survival and care, a reminder that compassion could change destinies. As they prepared to leave the planet behind, Hayes looked at the feline, feeling a quiet pride. "The galaxy is wide, dangerous, and full of life. But we've proven that even the smallest act of care can create hope." The creature stood beside him, its eyes bright in the morning light, reflecting the vast stars above. Together they would continue their journey, a human and an alien beast united by trust and compassion. Word spread across the galaxy. Ships carried tales of a human who had saved a creature abandoned by aliens. Colonies discussed what it meant, that humanity valued life not for its power but for its right to exist. The feline beast became a symbol, not of war or weaponry but of mercy, courage, and choice. Across distant worlds, humans were seen not as conquerors, but as protectors capable of compassion where others could not. Hayes often looked at the stars and thought of the endless possibilities. With the feline beside him, they were not just survivors, They were a living message to the galaxy. That life, no matter how alien, mattered. That compassion, courage, and trust could overcome fear and cruelty. And that humanity, even in the face of great danger, could inspire hope. As the sun set over the jagged valley, the feline beast curled beside Hayes, resting its massive head near him. The light reflected off its golden eyes, calm and intelligent, a living monument to survival, loyalty, and compassion. Hayes whispered, "We've done something important. The galaxy will remember." The creature blinked slowly, a silent promise to continue the journey together, a reminder that even the smallest acts of care could leave the largest mark. In the quiet of the evening, as stars glittered across the alien sky, humanity had left a symbol that could not be broken. A human had saved a creature abandoned and suffering, and together they showed the galaxy what true courage and compassion meant. It was not a story of violence, power, or conquest. It was a story of life, trust, and the choice to protect the helpless. And in that choice a legend began.